As you all are aware, India is a country where business is integrated in our culture. And more than that, I'm sure most of you all have come across families, friends who are already in a business which is driven by families. And it's not uncommon to know and note some of the largest corporates in India, like Reliance, Birla, Tatas, have all been built on strong family foundations. So I'm sure there's a lot to learn from them and the way they do their business, the way they pass the torch on to the next generation of entrepreneurs. So you must be wondering how we are related. So I'm Jash, she's my mom, and I'm her son.
Here's a catch. He's my boss and I'm working with him. So you all must be wondering, like how can a mother of Gen X work with a millennial boy with so many thoughts, ambitions, and all his desires? 3 years back, Jash and Pashmi, my children, they came to me with an idea of developing India's best healthy ice cream, which I can ever do. And that is how Get-A-Whey was born right from my kitchen experiment. Today, we are about 20 people's team with different ages working together to drive this desire to build India's healthiest dessert brand.
So moving on, I'm sure you must have known the different types of generations, starting from baby boomers to Gen X to the latest edition, the Gen Zs. So obviously, I have a 26-year age gap with my mom, and my sister has a 30-year age gap with her, which makes her fall into the Gen X category, and we are the Gen Ys, or how we call it, millennials. One thing to note here is that with this age gap, there come a lot of differences and a lot of challenges while doing business, with elders. Obviously, you like working with them, but then you don't like working, their working styles are way different than what is ours. So more than the challenges, what we realized was we were able to overcome these challenges, and we're not here to talk only about the challenges, but now we're here to tell you about how we've done it and how beautifully it works out for us.
So you must be wondering, like how it is to manage business with working with millennial kids. But trust me, we have a lot to learn from them. We have to keep our minds open, we have to adapt to their pace, their thoughts, and trust them. Because what happens is, we as a conservative business entrepreneurs since 30 years, it's difficult for us to understand their business concepts, and there is a lot of wide perspective of businesses these days available on platter. So this is the point that working with millennials not only allows us to grow mentally, our IQ, our lateral thinking, everything gets wider. And we understand their pace, their new age modern tools easier. Apart from this, what in these 3 years of my span, the last 3 years, spending with them at business, have taught me a lot many things. We are less digitally equipped, because during back our school days, we didn't have computers, we didn't have technology, we didn't have Microsoft at that time. But the first thing when we started business together was to make a data sheet, and that was Excel. That is when I felt that we have so much of support from the millennial children working with, that they will teach you everything that is necessary to make the business process easier. Apart from this, so many things we can upskill ourselves. I never knew to make a PowerPoint presentation. He's taught me that. So many other learnings, like how to manage and process all the operations in an easy fashion, was something which I learned in these past 3 years. So these are the learnings which come indirectly from these children working with. Although it's not so easy, there are a lot of challenges coming across, especially when we think we as parents, we are a little conservative in spending to grow our business. That is a time when, Jash and Pashmi have always told me, there's a small instance which I would like to share with you guys. 2 years back, when they came with a budget of spending 2 lakh rupees for digital marketing ads, I said, why? I mean, you just give newspaper ad or just throw some flyers in the newspapers and people will come to know about it. This is the time when they sat with me, they explained me the detail of investing that 2 lakh rupees in an investment is going to give me return on that investment as my business revenue. These things are challenges, but along with these challenges, we're learning a lot of things with them. Moreover, what happens is, there are sometimes, we have never taken loans, we have never borrowed money to run our businesses. So that is a time when they talk about fundraising, it comes to our minds that will this fundraising be in our favor? But they sit and they explain each and everything. So these things, are a great learning experience along with these challenges.
So you must be wondering how it's the other way around. Like, I've been working with my mom, and trust me, it's not easy. She's not going to do your homework like she used to when you were in school. Or you can't even lie to her when you're coming back home late from office, right? Because she's in the same office. But, jokes apart, I think moms or at least that generation have been operational wizards. Like, they've been good at everything that they do. My learnings and my takeaways from, working with elders, in fact, not just my mom. I've also worked in a corporate job previous to starting my own business. I realized one thing, that this generation is very process oriented, and process becomes key, be it anything. If you learn how to develop a process, I think it gives, not just helps you streamline business functions, but also it helps you elevate and grow faster. Apart from, processes, I think prioritization is something that this generation has understood really well. And millennials are super, super impatient and can't prioritize stuff. And trust me, I've learned it the hard way. Balancing your work and your life is also something that I take away from them. The biggest problem today with millennials is that they want growth, and they want growth fast. But working with this generation has made me realize that if we stick to our core values, that just helps not just us in our business, but also to develop as humans. There are some qualities that are mentioned here, and I feel at the crux of any business or any person's development, these are core values which everyone should adapt. From my mom, I've learned that if you're caring, if you're respectful, if you're honest, not just to yourself, to your employees, but also to vendors, partners, even delivery partners or suppliers, it helps you go a long way. I've known this for a fact, that trust in any business is something that you take years to build. And that is something that nobody can take away from you. That's something that my mom and my dad both have taught me. And in fact, one more thing that I'd like to touch upon is being fair to everyone. Today, people don't think about, a lot of these values and just think about growth. And a lot of young people have been impatient, have been following just the path of what other millennials are doing rather than sticking to core values. I feel this is the most underrated part of becoming a better human, becoming a better business, becoming a better son, becoming a better mother. And it helps you go a long way. So I think I'd like to summarize this, and mom, I think you should put it in words.
So I would wrap this up in one small part of my learning throughout this life of my business journey. The core values that you imbibe in your children will lay a very, very strong foundation, not only for their businesses, but for themselves, for the society in which they are living, and for the rest of the people whom they are surrounded with. We, as Gen X, have to learn to adapt, to trust their vision, their dreams, and help them grow and achieve. Although there may be some parts where we have to slow them down, because as rightly Jash has already said, that the millennials are very fast-paced. They want everything very, very quickly. So we are the ones who will hold them back so that they do not fall in the ditch, right? So as parents, we may call it Gen X generation. They may be called as millennials, digital natives or whatsoever. But ultimately, any intergenerational business can be excellently executed only if both the generations are ready to adapt to each other's thoughts, each other's ways of working, because as you all know, millennials, their digital clocks are different. I wake up at 6, he sleeps at 6. So, all these things have to be adapted with each other to run a fantastic intergenerational business. Thank you so much for hearing us out. I
Thank
hope
you so much.
you will all have enjoyed. Thanks.
Thank you.